Hey folks, Dan here. I wanted to talk today a bit about, handling, thinking about, conceptualizing red days, and especially very red days. Um, and so I put myself in the ugliest setting possible to reflect how ugly red days can be. No, I just don't have any good recording space in my house. Everything is geared toward kids, and mostly I'm just tripping over toys. So I have found a bare wall, and here we are. But in any case, since I like to overshare, I was down to about 15% today in my accounts. Now that's in the context of, and I'll mention why I'm putting it in this context in a minute. It's in the context of this week. Today's Friday. This week I was up 7%, still with the 15% down day, right? So today included, still up 7% on the week. And in the last month, I took my account from about $700 to about $3,000, and then today I lost 15% of that. And so that's where I'm sitting right now. One thing that I like to think about when sort of working through mentally, taking in a big red day, is first of all, like putting it in the proper framework, right? Where is this in the vast scheme of things? Is this a red day on top of a red day on top of a red day on top of a red day? And if that's the case, what are the steps that you take to handle that? Versus my situation, which I'll talk about today, and we can do another video about how I would think about red day after red day after red day. Today, thinking about a really red day, which feels extra bad because it's a Friday, I think. And I can find it challenging to go through the weekend and everything, and that's when I should be focused on family and relaxing and, just enjoying outside life. And having rolling around in the back of my head the struggle that I felt all day today. And so that's one thing, trying to keep the broader framework of things. So overall, I need to be focused on, okay, so your account's at what, 2,600 after today. This time last month, it was at $700. So let's first acknowledge that the steps, the rules, the playbook that you're following to get to build the account in that way is working, does work. Doesn't work 100% of the time, right? But it works in a way that's repeatable and can be consistent. But you have to follow the steps, right? So this is my big takeaway today. It was very clear a few mistakes that I made. One, I was not as picky as I have been previously in my trades. And part of the way that this happened was I ended up in too many positions this morning. And I was in too many positions. I was trying to handle too many different things. I do much, much better. And this is just particular to me. I do much, much better when I have 3-4 positions to be managing. When it gets 5 and above, it can feel really unruly to me. And at this point, to pull my phone out here and take a look at it, I realized I ended today also with just way too many positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I have at least 2 more positions than I should have. And it just makes everything much more challenging to manage for me. And I think that I overall manage everything more poorly, just on whole. But then also I make sort of too erratic of decisions because I'm trying to get myself to a place where I have just that 3 or 4 position situation. So that's one thing, too many positions. The other thing is I made too many early trades. I timed my trades poorly. I do much better so this is something that I know I do better with. I think I need to kind of just make it a rule. I need to take this from hey, you do really good in this sort of situation, to just saying this is your rule, don't break it. I do much, much better when I come in and focus on making purchases in power hour, really. Anytime around power hour. Analyzing the movements of the day, where things are situated on the chart, how the flow is looking over the course of the entire day. And then it allows me to be more like correctly picky. And what I mean by that is I'm not being super swayed by the herky-jerkiness of the intraday like market at open, and then the weirdness that occurs, around lunchtime and whatnot. I can take that all in, see how the market is digesting the entire day, see where it's sort of moving toward in power hour, and then be picky in that situation. And I have more information, more relevant, recent information to go off of, to be picky with. And so one of my biggest mistakes today was I took trades early on for no good reason, for absolutely no good reason. And then looking back at them, I'm like, oh, these were terrible trades. And mostly just because at a glance, I should have said, oh, I'm too picky for this trade. The setup isn't there yet. It's not enough there, right? There's like components that look like they could work, but it's not slam dunk enough. And even when you have things that look like slam dunk, right, still a lot of times they will go against you and you have to risk manage them. So when you put yourself in a situation where you're trying to manage a trade that you entered sort of like, I don't want to say as a mistake, but you just made a bad decision and entered something you shouldn't have, then you're stuck wasting more time and capital managing a trade that you shouldn't have been in to begin with. So it's just all sorts of like downstream, like poor effects that come from that as well. So those are my big takeaways from today. One, don't get into more than 4 positions at a time. That should be my rule. And if that means I need to size differently because my account has changed in size differently, then, I'll figure that out. But I can't be taking on what's happened because the account has grown. I've gone from taking 2 or 3 positions and then I've doubled and tripled it, right? My account size has tripled, quadrupled, whatever. And my number of positions, at times when I'm not paying attention, I let it get into that same sort of situation. And that's just bad for me. Because I don't do well managing those. So I need to do no more than 4 positions, no matter what. I need to look to take profit or cut loss during the day, but not make entries. And then the other thing is, don't get relaxed in any way, shape, or form on how picky I want to be with the setups. The setups need to meet a certain criteria, and I shouldn't feel pressured like I need to get a trade in, right? That's always the thing that's in my head. It's like, it's one of 2 things. Like, I want to catch this move, right? And that almost always goes against me. Or for whatever reason, I don't feel good about like letting most of the trading day pass by and then getting into a trade. I'm like, oh, there's things happening in the market. I got to go make some trades. Then I'm forcing the issue, right? I'm not letting the trade come to me. I'm going out trying to hunt for the trade. And that's, again, something that's just never worked to me. And these are all just things that work and don't work for me, and traps that I tend to fall into. Your list might be completely different, but hopefully what I'm trying to convey here is at least know your list. Know what your common mistakes are. Know what you do when things go really poorly. Know what you do when things go really well, and why. If you don't know why something went poorly or why something went well, then you don't have a repeatable process. You don't have anything to lean on. And it's all just by happenstance. And the luck's going to run out at some point. And unfortunately, good luck seems to run out. Bad luck often does not seem to run out in the stock market. And so until I'm following all of my rules and I start to incur consistent losses, if that starts to happen, then I would say there's something wrong with my system, right? My system is broken. I need to totally revamp this and figure out a different way to approach it. But today was not an example of that. Today was an example of you have a process that had been working and you just, and the 3 most important components of it did the opposite of what you should have. So I've put myself behind the 8 ball a little bit. Right now I still have positions that I need to be getting myself out of on Monday. But I can focus on Monday and say, okay, in the broader scheme of things, you just had $700 a month ago. Okay, so if your account gets blasted on Monday and you lose another 15%, you can get back to it, right? These are recoverable things. Just don't let the losses get tremendously out of control, right? Keep that capital, because that capital you can double, quadruple, triple, yeah, whatever the correct order is there. And so I need to keep that in mind as well. Don't waste the money, right? Another stupid thing that I did, this was actually yesterday, was I took a lotto. There was this crazy flow coming in that looked like there was a stock that it would have had to drop like 30% or something today, but there was so much money getting poured into it that I jumped in and I was like, well, I'll throw 120 bucks at the wall, right? This was in the midst of me having a really good week and a really good month. I was like, I'll throw this lotto out there because this is bizarre that there's this, super bearish flow in this stock. And nothing happened. So that $120 all right, I don't know what happened there. It stopped recording. So what I was saying was I just took that 120 bucks and I said, okay, this is a lotto. If I lose it, I lose it. But that's like really lazy thinking, right? The other way to think about that is if you follow your rules with that $120, that could be, who knows, $200, $300, $400 by January, right? And I wouldn't throw $200, $300, $400 at a lotto at this moment. So I should view the worth of the capital as its future potential if I continue to execute on my process and my the things that work well, my strategy. If I can execute on it, I can make it work. So I need to not view it as $100. I need to view it as, this is my future $500, right? This is my current $2,500 account. This is my future $20,000 account, something like that. And so, yeah, I don't know if this is interesting or helpful to anyone, but I think that there's strong value in knowing your traps, knowing what traps you trap yourself in, and paying really close attention to them, right? Figure out where you lose. As long as you have a system that has the possibility for winning, know what you do to thwart yourself, right? What roadblocks do you throw? How do you trip yourself up along the way? And again, for me, no more than 4 positions. Do not be relaxed in any way, shape, or form on how picky you are at entering trades, and time it correctly. Don't be focused. Don't feel rushed in taking positions during the day. Almost always focus on the power hour unless there's something really, really out of whack that happens that is a really great opportunity, but that would be the rarity, not the norm. And then, to be honest, while we're here, and just to make this video way longer than it has to be, the other, my longest term deficit is holding positions too long, right? That becoming a bag holder. Now, I don't tend to become a bag holder that much anymore, but I still take bigger losses than I have to sometimes. And I'm trying to get much, much better at that. Pay more attention to my losers and manage them correctly, versus what I used to do is I would have a contract that's down 40%. And I would say, okay, let me give it some time. Maybe it'll come back. And in the meantime, I have another contract that's up 15%. And I'm like, I don't want to lose this 15%. Let me take that profit. And I've tried to completely rejigger that. And when I'm doing it well, it really works well. I'm giving the winners some room, some breadth, and I'm cutting those losers. And if that's 20, 30%, it's 20, 30%, but I'm not letting it get, super out of control. And that's where having too many positions also plays in, because if all those positions turn against you and all of a sudden you're trying to risk manage 5, 6, 7, 8 positions, it's like, good luck. I think I could pretty effectively risk manage 3 losers that I really had to manage cutting. So those are my takeaways. That's what I'm going to focus on Monday. Even just sort of talking about it to my computer is helpful, and I think will help me sort of just get over it. Know that you had a great month. Know that you had a really solid week, and you had a bad day, and you know why. You know what you did to make the day bad, right? And they're all correctable. and I'll start following the rules again. And like I said, if then I start incurring consistent losses by following my rules, then I'll say, okay, there's something wrong. My system doesn't work anymore. Let me rejigger the system. And if that happens, I'll make a video on that, and we'll talk about that then. But for now, this is what I'm focused on. This is sort of what I've learned from my brain for trading over the years, and I just thought I would share it. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope that you have an enjoyable weekend or night or day or week, whenever it is that you're watching this. And I do appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.